Thank you.
Mr. Mayor, after all the tour that you've done, what is your assessment now?
Thank you so much. First of all, I want to introduce the team members. We have Bibi Dabo, Community Service Manager. We have Lamin Kamara, Anti-Littering Manager, Munjay Market Manager. And we have supporters who are also supporting this initiative. We have Mr. Karafa Sonko here. We have Malik Kante and Babukar Jamme. Based on our visits from Ibo Town to Bakau, then we went to Manjai Kunda, and then we ended at Dipakunda. What we've seen is devastation. Many communities are still hurting and struggling. We visited many areas that are in the canal or waterways and in the swampland areas. And we see, even though after 1 week since the major rain, houses are still full of water. So today, based on the assessment we initially got from our community services, we decided to deploy water pumps and some food items for vulnerable families who lost their foodstuff. And we also had the support of the PIU, Gambian National Army, Fire and Rescue Services, and the Municipal Police and Council staff. In all, I think we had 300 personnel. So I think the response is an initial response towards the disaster response, and we hope in the coming days we can mobilize enough resources and support from not just the government but also the business sector and communities that are better off, so we can help vulnerable families. We see there's still a lot of work that needs to be done to ensure such will not happen in the future, or at least minimize. But I think lastly, what I have concluded today, and I've said it during the initial visit with the Vice President and then the President, was that many people have settled in waterways and swampland, and the only remedy is to relocate. It's hard, it's difficult to hear. I know they say it's expensive, but it's the only way. Most people are settled in areas that are waterways, and in our local language we say farokono. So definitely, I think the long-term solution is just that. A lot of the problems we are facing today is because of poor planning for decades and people illegally settling. And the fault, I think, is across the board. Alkalis have given land to people to settle in areas that are not habitable. Physical planning has not done a good job in organizing the communities, and previous councils also haven't done a good job. So we are facing it all today. But I think the solution is relocation.
So, okay, Mr. Mayor, turning to the donkey drivers that are collecting waste in the environment. So what is the next step on them? Because we have seen people complaining about them. So what is the step that the KMC is going to take on them?
I will let the anti-littering answer that, but just to keep it short, from my end, I think the donkey drivers or the donkey cart operators are something that we don't like to see in our municipality. But the reason they are also here is because they are feeling a demand, and we need to make sure the council is in a position to fill that shortage if we do kick them out. And I think the plan is that their days are numbered. We no longer want to see them within our communities. But I put it on the anti-littering to work on a sustainable solution. So in a scenario where we ask them to leave the municipality, we must fill that void and to ensure that that shortage of waste collection is covered. I will let Lamin Kamara also elaborate.
Thank you very much, Lord Mayor. Good afternoon to you all, press, and all my boss, the Lord Mayor, Market Manager, BB Community Service, Uncle Lopi and Mr. Sonko, then Malik Kante, the support staffs of the council, I usually call them. Whatever we are doing, they are with us. Thank you. Let me come to that question of donkey drivers or donkey cart operators. Definitely, looking at the scenario today around the swampy area there or around the furrows, you realize that they have messed up the entire place. We are with the view, or we are with the opinion that we want to relocate them. But each time you relocate them, any communities they go to, the communities feel very upset. So as a matter of fact, we don't have choice. Now we are with the opinion that we're going to ban them completely from, KMC. We can all bear this witness that KMC, it's a metropolitan center. It has a lot of businesses around, a lot of compounds around. There has no bigger space where you can accommodate this donkey cart. So as a matter of fact, the best option is to relocate them completely out of our region. Either be it in other regions where they can be accommodated, yes, agreed. But before the council goes to that level, we are coming with a plan. We want to organize every councillors. We have about 19 wards. Each councillor is mandated to bring 10 youths who will be going into this refuse business. We want to engage them through his own commitment, the Lord Mayor, his own foresightness. He decided to bring a partner where we'll be working with this partner. We'll empower the youths will empower them with some motorbikes. These motorbikes will be able to go to every suburbs to collect this refuse. Why we want to do that? We have all seen the scenario together. Where these donkey carts are gathered, over 300-400 donkey carts, that community is not free from one hazard. They are not free from noise. They are, they became nuisance anyway. So now the council is with the opinion of relocating them. That responsibility was charged. I was charged to take up that responsibility together with the community service manager, Mr. Bakari Dabo. We are on it now, and very soon, inshallah, we'll complete that. Then we'll try to relocate them somewhere. Definitely, accommodating them, as I said earlier, is not conducive. We cannot keep them here. They need to relocate. Okay.
Okay, I have another question for you. You are the chair of anti-littering. We know that the streets are always littered. And KMC is taking every step, like every show they cleaning the street. Do you have any other plan to avoid the streets being littered?
Yeah, the only thing, as I usually tell people, you see, KMC, people who cleans are just few. But people whom we clean for, they are more than us. They outnumber us. Over hundreds of thousands of people are staying in this municipality. If they did not, adhere to the rules and regulations of anti-littering, obviously we'll find it very challenging. Yes, agreed, we are tasked with the responsibility to clean the municipality. But whom are we cleaning? It's the same people. So those people need to understand why there is anti-littering. Now, I used to tell people, when you move just our nearby neighbors here, only in Dakar, they outnumber us. Over 8 million people sleeps in Dakar. So do we all agree that we are as clean as Dakar? No. We must change our attitude. We must, follow the norms, of cleaning. There are regulations in place. When the new dispensation come under the leadership of the Lord Mayor, they came because they had the mandate to organize, to prepare a law. This bylaw is in place. We are executing it, and we want the municipality to respond to what we are calling them for. We want to start this. In fact, we have started it. We are visiting many communities now. Today, during our tour with the Lord Mayor, we have realized that many of these places, we must go there, serve them with this prohibition notice to stop what they are doing. The communities are very dirty. We'll all agree with that. But we need the response of the general public also. It cannot be all squarely done by us. Now, if you clean this highway, believe in me, give it a time. Before 1 hour time, you'll see a lot of things on the highway that you don't like. So definitely, it is our duty, all of us, not only the council, but everybody else, for that matter.
Okay. Coming back to the issue of the donkey cart drivers, you said the only solution is for them to be relocated. Is there any place that you identified for them? So because most of them are depending on this to make ends meet. So is there any place that is identified for them in case they are relocated to that place? They will have a place where they will depend and make ends meet.
You see, in the meantime, before this ban will take effect, we'll look at it holistically together. It's not like the KMC has a readily place where we'll relocate them, move them. It's about mindset. We'll go discuss with them. In fact, scatter them. They cannot be all assembled at one place. Some will be, some of them, they can take their donkey and carts to where they sleep, the compounds they belong to. If they cannot put it in their compounds, obviously, we look at it. It happens every time. This is not the first time we have been relocating them, but each time we relocate them, as I said, it used to bring a lot of query here and there. No community want to get them together. Now we want to scatter them. Some will go to other east, others will go to north, others go to south. But if you want to assemble them all at one place, it always brings challenges and difficulties. So as at now, before the ban take effect, yes, we'll scatter them. And obviously we'll be able to scatter them where there will not be that much problem. Yes.
Okay, Lord Mayor, the backwater dump site, we have seen the wall has been broken down. So what is your suggestion to the people of backwater? And especially we know we have kids around there and their health conditions also matter. What's the next step for KMC? Which step would you guys take to avoid kids getting close to the dump sites and getting into those waters? Because we are sure kids, as a kids, we are always playful and always want to enjoy ourselves, and most of us will enter inside it because the fence is already broken.
Thank you for that. So the reason we put the fence there in the first place is to keep the community away from the hazards of the dump site. We put the fence there 3 years ago to contain the hazards within the dump site, and it has worked effectively since. The past 3 rainy seasons, that area is a ditch that gets full of water, and is the fence that was blocking the water from entering the community. And whenever we have a fire incident, and especially the last fire incident, it came all the way to the fence, and it was actually the fence that protected the community from the fire. But such incidents have weakened that area of the fence over time, and with this big rainfall, it collapsed, and the contaminated waters from inside the site flowed inside the community. Now, our visit there was very educative for many reasons. One, we understand there's a petrol station that was originally where the water would pass that has blocked the water. That's why it's backflowing into the dump site. Two, we've seen physical planning problems that are aggravating the floods in the area. But coming to your question directly, we want to ensure that the community doesn't get diseases or any waterborne disease from this contaminated water. So tomorrow I've instructed the service department to set septic emptiers to the dump site to ensure all those contaminated waters are sucked into the septic emptiers and taken away. Number two, we are going to send some aid to that community. We started today with some food aid, but we've taken note of some of the concerns there, and we'll ensure we remedy the situation. Lastly, when we are reconstructing the fence also, now we understand some of the engineering problems in that area, and we'll ensure that we create diversion for the water and make sure that we have a reinforced concrete foundation in that area of the dump site. But finally, to also again reassure the people of Bakote and KM at large, our intention is to move the dump site away from KMC. Now we are getting positive feedback from the Ministry of Lands that they are working on an alternate land, which we will get the notification soon. So once and for all, we can see the end of what we now know to be the notorious Bakote dump site. But to also inform the community that we are currently engaging in a $32 million investment in the dump site as we speak, in partnership with the German government and SOS, to help better mitigate the risk coming from the dump site. And we are actually working on a second phase of that project. So there's a lot that has been happening in the Bakote dump site. This is an unfortunate incident, but we will respond to make sure that something like this does not hurt the community of Manjai.
So what is your advice to the people of KM as your closing remark?
My advice is just like I was saying at Dipakunda today, this cannot be done by government alone, KMC alone. This must be done by all of us. We should be the first police officers in our communities. We should be the first caretakers in our communities. If you cannot take care of your community, it's going to be very difficult for KMC to come and take care of your community. The people who are living in KM are 500,000 people. KMC staff is about 1,000 people. So who has more manpower? The community. And who lives there knows best. Who lives there feels it. So what I was saying to the community of Dipakunda is what I will say to everybody in KMC. Be responsible for your community. And for things that you cannot handle, KMC can help. And when our help comes, it will be easier because you have done what is needed to make sure your community is organized. Also, when you see people doing illegal activities, such as building illegal settlements or blocking waterways or littering the street, you should report them. You should not only report them, you should approach them and tell them to stop. And today we were even mentioning to them that there's something called community arrest or citizens arrest. If somebody is breaking the law, it is the responsibility of every citizen to make sure that that person is held accountable. So we are not saying they should hit anybody, be violent, put their hands on anybody, but we are saying that they could take the first step to apprehend the individual and bring them to the nearest police station. So my appeal is, let us take charge of our own municipality. Let us take charge of our own community and take charge of our own neighborhoods. This is how it is in the developed countries that we all admire. This is how it is in the Western world and Asia. People are taking charge. This is why it is easier to manage. So we want people to take charge. This is our message.